Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm John Berry 555, and today I'm continuing my reviews of Star Wars Visions Volume 3 with the 7th short film, The Smuggler from Studio Trigger. So, what's going on in this episode? Well, a smuggler who is in debt is approached by a mysterious figure to smuggle two people off a planet. Does that remind you of something? I mean, I actually did watch. I actually finally watched I think the filmmaker focus that's on StarWars.com, and yes, the filmmaker for this short film did actually take inspiration from the dynamics that we see in A New Hope, but there is some twists, like an active bounty hunter pursuit, for example. So our main character is a smuggler named Cheetah. Her ship is actually currently locked down by her mechanic because she's not paid up and he's increased the rates, and she's approached by a mysterious figure, the same species actually as Kiamundi, with the offer to pay off the debt for her ship and an additional 10,000 credits upon delivery once she delivers two passengers to a system outside of Imperial control. And because this episode actually opened with basically a monologue setting the stage, basically a voiceover version of the crawl, we know that on this planet that the royal family has been captured with the exception of the prince. Yeah, it's exactly what's going on. Cheetah is hired to smuggle Prince Aru, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, and his caretaker, governess. Honestly, she does kind of give me that governess vibe, and you know what? She's a badass because she's actually a former Jedi, and yeah, and Cheetah does. But unlike Han Solo, she's much more how should I phrase it? Much more willing to get involved. Very much so. While Han Solo just wants to more stay out of the Empire's way and sees the rebellion as a failure. By the end of the episode, Prince Alu and Glino, the Caesarean, the Jedi that's been basically helping him stay away from the Empire, who I mentioned already, basically say, hey Cheetah, would you mind helping us smuggle people off of our home world still? And she's like, yeah, sure, because she's excited. She has way, basically, she's like, what if Han Solo had Luke Skywalker's personality? Seriously, that is literally a good way of looking at it. So maybe a little more energetic and all that, but still, very much more that kind of style and dynamic. I also want to mention too that there's a scene which provides some really good characterization from Prince Alu. Where it portrays that he's not a a noble who has a royal who has no care of his people. No, there's a scene where the stormtroopers are targeting teens who are around Prince Alu's age just for looking like him. Why does that remind me of something that's currently going on in my own country? Not quite the same as just people with a certain skin complexion, but yeah, it's oddly familiar. I wonder. Come on, we all know I'm talking about Ice here and what they're doing. But let's ignore that. No, we shouldn't ignore that. We need to call it out for what it is. And in this Star Wars Vision show, made well before this stuff really got dangerous, I guess, real, for like a better term, in the United States, it drew on that imagery from 1930s Germany, from Jim Crow era United States, from many other historical examples of discrimination based off of superficial characteristics in order to portray the Empire as evil. If you call my Star Wars Rebels review yesterday, I mentioned how the Empire cutting off food is showing that they're evil and people who do it don't have a good look. And it's through those things that we can draw these parallels, because there are certain practices that authoritarians always make use of in order to instill control, instill fear. And it's just a parallel. Life imitates art, but also art imitates life. It goes both ways. And even if while we're watching something directly, say, hey, there's a sneak connection to something going on, how did the filmmakers know? Well, it's just like in Star Wars Andor, they're students of history. There is nothing new under the sun, is a saying for a reason. But going back to what Prince Alu did, what he did is reveal himself. He wasn't going to let that teenage boy and his mother be brutalized by stormtroopers just because the teen is around the same age and height as Prince Arul. I know I'm getting his name wrong. That is showing very good moral upstanding characterization, shows that he actually cares about his people. And the entire royal family was arrested because they stood against the empire, so that also establishes a lot as well. And then of course there's a scene where they have to confront a bounty hunter. That's where Grennu is revealed to be a Jedi, and she keeps her lightsaber hidden in a prosthetic arm, which is a very cool way of hiding a lightsaber. Sure, we've had different ways where a Jedi just keeps it under the robes, just displays it openly, disguises it in two pieces. There's different ways, but the most clever way we've yet seen a lightsaber disguised by a former Jedi. And can I also say, because so we do get a little bit of backstory. She was an Order 66 survivor, and that she was taken in by the royal family of Prince Aru. Well, Prince Aru's family, the royal family of the planet that I don't remember his name. Is that in? Do I remember? No. Did I write notes? No. But anyhow, on that, it's revealed that she was taken in by them and dedicated herself to protecting the royal family. Hence why the prince was able to escape capture. But also, too, I gotta say, the idea of a Jedi surviving Order 66 and hiding as basically a royal governess is a quite clever way of hiding. Because governesses, at least in media, are portrayed as or maybe nanny. But I like the term governess for this better because I feel like takes care of the kids. Maybe a bit on the stricter side, teaches them stuff, and if they're a little more aloof in that, no one would expect them to be a Jedi. They would just, oh, yep, just a standard governess working for the Royals. No problem there. But also, I think Prince Aru might be force sensitive because he's done some pretty impressive jumps that we saw no other character do in this entire short film. Even Grennu, she does not do any impressive flips. She does impressive stuff, mind you, quick movements and all that, but flips, jumps, impressive ones? Not really. There's also a scene where the bounty hunter that's chasing them before they actually get off planet launches a missile at a speeder that they were given by a resident to help them escape, showing how much the people care for the Royals and want to see them safe, which does not happen too often in real life. Looking at the French especially, or the English in the 1600s. Yes, yep, the English beheaded their king before the French did. Remember that. But unlike the French, they restored the monarchy and haven't unrestored it and re-restored it and unrestored and re-restored it. But anyhow, that's a really big sidetrack there. But so the missile hits the speeder, and somehow Prince Alu helps make sure that Cheetah does not basically get injured in the fallout of the speeder after being launched by that missile. Which is interesting to me because that seems to imply that he might be force sensitive. Also, I think he might be attracted to Cheetah as well. I don't know why, but I think there's some chemistry there. In fact, there's other good character dynamics in this entire thing. But there's definitely some seeds that if they ever get to continue the story, would be able to be continued to be explored on in new different ways. Or just the next adventure they're on, helping Smuggler distance off Prince Aru's homeworld to help the rebellion, whose base suspiciously looks like Yavin 4. Yep, this is another show that could easily fit into the existing Star Wars canon, no problem. There's more I could say, more commentary I could make, but you know what? Let's keep the discussion going in the comment section down below. Feel free to leave your thoughts on this episode down there. I would love to hear them. And I hope to see you tomorrow when I talk about the next Star Wars Visions Volume 3 short film, The Bird of Paradise. Hope to see you then. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.